if you really think about it though, they had to go out of their way to mess up Garden Warfare at least, because you had all of the characters made already essentially. They're ruining my baby. They're making it horrible.
Plants vs. Zombies is a game held very close to my heart, and if you're watching this
Yeah,
video,
it was PK Gaming. What do you mean?
you probably have too much attachment to this franchise as well. I've played so many versions throughout my
We
life.
have pre-Christ, or sorry, before Christ and after Christ, before PvZ, after PvZ.
Game of the Year, console, Nintendo DS, and of course the one
Oh,
most people
so
are
good.
familiar with, the mobile version. So many people know this series as a mobile game. With that in mind, you would expect the most popular way to play it to be the best one, right? Unfortunately, no. Over the past 16 years, this version has degraded in quality due to both the passage of time and intentional greed from PopCap and EA.
The worst part is like seven. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but I'm assuming I can buy you out the whole shop. You can get coins very easily. And once you have bought everything, from what I remember, there's just nothing else you can do with them.
Here's a brief overview of what makes this version flawed at its core. PvZ Mobile is an old game that first released in 2010. Back then, phones were the size of a fly and storage was very limited. So, PopCap made some adjustments, like compressing all the art, removing dynamic music, and cutting unnecessary parts like the Tree of Wisdom and zombies on your lawn. Also reworked minigames and puzzles into things you buy with coins. Even after all these years, PopCap has never updated the game to restore the missing features. But as long as the gameplay is intact, is it really that bad? Well, yes. Ads plague this version literally everywhere. Start a level, get an ad. Finish a level, get an ad.
I remember hearing
Open
about
the main
this,
menu,
yeah.
Get an ad. And then there are even more buttons during levels that push ads onto you. Watch an ad to get a rake.
Might be a hot take. I don't think the option to watch an ad for an Explodo Nut or a rake is that bad.
Watch an ad to get an Explodo Nut.
Mainly because you can just ignore it.
Slot. Watch an ad for one of your missing lawnmowers. Watch an ad to use the speed up button. Watch an ad to play a minigame. You cannot do anything in this game without an ad being shoved in your face. And while paying to remove ads gets rid of some of them, the prompts themselves never go away. Unfortunately, shortly after PopCap laid off the entire PvZ Heroes team, they proceeded to delist all paid mobile versions of PvZ in 2017. So now you have no alternatives. This is the only version on mobile you can play if you want to play PvZ.
Did they remove the free one and replace it with a paid one?
Well, there is one more option. PvZ HD was a version designed specifically for tablets, and it's basically the same as the original game except with high resolution art. This version was only available on iPads though, and they stopped updating it in 2018. Because they abandoned it early on, it ironically became the best way to play PvZ on mobile since it avoided all of their horrible updates. Not everything lasts forever though. In March 2026, they delisted the game out of nowhere and told fans to play the other version instead. Thanks PopCap. Not only can you not transfer progress between the two versions, but the original mobile port doesn't even support the iPad's native 4:3 aspect ratio, so the game appears hideously small with giant black borders everywhere. Apple gives you the option to upscale the game to fill some of the empty space, but it still looks awful and doesn't remove the borders. So, that's it. This awful version is now the fastest and easiest way to play the game. But wait,
I don't see why PopCap would it
gets worse. They've spent the past few years
on.
actively trying to make it as bad as possible by removing features. Instead of getting all your lawnmowers, you now only get 3 random ones. Throughout the level, lawnmowers spawn into empty lanes and prompt you to watch an ad. This doesn't even restore the lawnmower permanently either, it activates instantly once the ad ends. They also added the speed up button from PvZ 2, but originally it was
for it, don't
a
you?
$7 bundle that included
it's a membership,
1,000 coins and 7 days of no ads. Actually, scratch that because they recently changed it. Now it costs $5. But you no longer get permanent access to the speed up button.
So kind.
Instead, it only lasts for a week. Mind you, the original game on Steam and Xbox is $5. But whatever.
And it's a much better experience as well.
Method and disable Wi-Fi. And never mind. Their newest edition makes the game nearly unplayable offline. You can only play 3 levels per day without internet before being forced to reconnect if you want to continue. And if you buy the earlier mentioned ad-free pack,
this is why piracy exists.
Still isn't removed. You can only get offline play if you buy the speed up bundle, which again only lasts 7 days. So now what? We're left with a version that lacks more features than the Nintendo DS D-Make. A version—
I genuinely have no idea why EA has such beef with Plants vs Zombies. They don't want to make any new games. They just want to ruin all the old ones. Well, actually, I suppose they did make PvZ 3 Evolved, which I played for a little bit. It's just a massive cash grab. They just want you to pay for any and everything. Like, they were given such a gem and they just ruined it. They had such a good opportunity and they just fucked it up at every possible step.
So overloaded with ads that the franchise's former creative director, who worked on some of the most beloved games in the series, complained about it publicly on Twitter. A version that removes features that have existed for over a decade. A version with absurd microtransactions forcing you to pay weekly for offline play and a speed up button. Instead of updating the game to improve it and bring it closer to other versions, they made it worse. And the cherry on top that makes all of this even worse, the update that added many of these horrible changes was released on the series' anniversary. Yes, PogCap's way of celebrating
Walter
the
White,
franchise
fuck
turning
you.
17 years old was introducing even more predatory changes to the game that started it all. And I can already see the comments saying these changes were made by Slingshot, not PogCap. For those who don't know, Slingshot was put in charge of maintaining many of PogCap's older games, like Bejeweled, Peggle, and of course PvZ. Thing is, Slingshot is also owned by EA, just like PogCap.
Yeah, I was going to say
so
it doesn't really matter
doesn't
if it's
matter.
owned by the
Not
same
to
parent
mention that
company.
Slingshot is basically just PogCap Hyderabad under a rebrand, so technically it still is PogCap. But regardless, PogCap still sucks too. When people say PogCap is the good guy, they're thinking of the PogCap from 2010, when it was full of people who genuinely cared about the
Last good thing to come out of the PvZ games was Garden Warfare 2. The last update they ever made was, or the last major update, was the best thing, or the newest good thing that they've done. Everything before that was peak.
games they were making. Modern PogCap is full of executives who don't know what they're talking about and are only here to squeeze money out of the franchise. Let's not waste time pointing fingers at different people because it solves nothing. Let's just acknowledge that the series is in terrible hands. So, what can we do about it? Well, the simplest solution is supporting the fans. The fans can make PvZ better than PogCap without
They
even
are.
trying. Reflourished, Gardenless, Fusions, Altiverse.
Yeah, Fusion is such a good, like, literally the whole reason that PvZ 3 became this evolution bullshit was because of Fusion. Because Fusion was so popular.
Touch. Every single one of these mods and fan games is better than anything PogCap has released in the past 9 years. The fans are the reason PvZ has stayed alive, and we should do our best to support them. With that said, this version will probably only get worse, and I think people should seriously look into alternatives instead of continuing to play it. Thank you for watching, whatever that was. Sorry for the lack of videos.
Oh, it's a
and
long
shorts and
outro.
Whatever.
Okay.
Haven't really been feeling it lately. But
It's such a pity because all PopCap had to do was just improve on what you had. You already had the outline for a good mobile game with 1, and okay, 2 is very pay to win, but if you ignore the like llamas and stuff, it is fundamentally it's a great game. It's just riddled with pay to win stuff. And then you had an amazing outline with Garden Warfare 2. You could have just made Garden Warfare 3, but instead you decided to make Battle for Neighborville, where you originally decided to not have different classes, or sorry, different alternates. No. Oh my god, what are they called? My brain. Variants. Different variants of the same class. Like your fire, your ice, your toxic, and then your more unique ones like metal, camo, stuff like that. You decided, fuck it, let's just make the one class do one thing, and then you get fucked. If you want to do anything different, you have to pay for rainbow stars. I think it was.
Gotten around to editing them,
It was
but I swear
fucking
I'm
stupid.
doing things. I'm not being a bum. I swear. I'm gonna be trying to live stream a bit more. I have an entire stream layout revamp and stuff coming, so hopefully I'll be streaming more. So
If you really think about it, though, they had to go out of their way to mess up Garden Warfare, at least, because you had all of the characters made already, essentially. You had all the variants put out for you. You had all the cosmetics put out for you. All you had to do was make, like, 2 or 3 characters, 2 or 3 variants for every other character, and some cosmetics, and that's it. It's still a lot of work, but compared to making an entire game from scratch, it's nothing. Everything was already done for you, and you just decided to go, nah, I want to make Battle for Neighborville. I want to make the good game shit, because I hate money, I guess.
Stuff like Fusions and Garden Warfare. I want to stream more mods like Reflourished and Altverse, but my PC kind of dies when
He's just yapping. Alright. Well, that made me miserable.